Hello students, today we will see the next concept is creating jar files and manifest files. Jar files means Java archive files. The Java archive files is the package file format typically used to aggregate many Java class files and associated metadata and resources like text, images, etc. into one file to distribute application softwares or libraries on the Java platform. Jar files are fundamental archive files built on the zip file format and have the .jar file extensions. The computer users can create or extract jar files using the jar command that comes with a JDK, and they can also use a zip tools to do so. However, the order of entries in the zip file header is important when compressing, as the manifest often needs to be first. Whenever a developer wants to distribute a version of his software, then all he wants is to distribute a single file and not a directory structures filled with class files. Jar files were designed for this purpose. Jar files can contain both class files and other files type like sound, images, files which may be included in the projects. All the files in the jar file are compressed using a format similar to zip files. The jar, that means Java Archives tool of JDK, provide the facilities to create the executable jar files, and executable jar files calls the main method of the class. If you double click it, to create the executable jar files, you need to create .mf file, that means manifest file, also is known as the manifest files. Syntax is jar cf jar hyphen file input hyphen file. Yes, C4 creates a new or empty archive and add files to it. If any of the specified file name are directories, then the jar programs processes them recursively. Then F4 specifies the jar file name as the second command line argument. If the parameter is missing, jar will write the result to standard output or read it from standard input. Then creating executable jar files using jar tools. The jar tools provides many switches. Some of them are as follows. First is -c creates new archive files. Then -v generates verbose output. It displays the included or extracted resources on the standard output. Then -m includes manifest information from the given mf file, manifest files. Then -f for specifies the archive file name. Then -x for extract files from the archive files. Then jar files provides some benefits like security, decreased download time, compressions, then packaging for extension, packaging sealing, package versioning or portability. Then manifest file. A manifest file is a specific file contained within a jar archive, and it is used to define extension and package related data. It is metadata files and that contains name value pairs organized in different sections. If a jar file is intended to be used an executable file, the manifest file specifies the main class of the applications, and the manifest file is named as the manifest.mf. And the manifest file usually have .mf extensions or a .manifest extension in Windows. Each jar files contains a manifest file that describe the features of archive, and each jar files have a manifest file by default. The default manifest file is named as manifest.mf, and it is presented in the meta-inf subdirectory of the archive. And although the default manifest file contains 2 entries, but complex manifest file having way more. The entries of manifest files are grouped into sections, and each section having 2 entries, section name and its value. These are the 2 sections included in manifest files. Then when you create a jar files, it automatically receive a default manifest file, and there can be only one manifest file in the archive files, and it always path name like meta-inf/manifest.mf. That means manifest.mf included in meta-inf folder. When you create a jar files, the default manifest file simply contains the following. For example, manifest-version 1.0 created by 1.7.0-06 Oracle Corporation. This is the for example. Then next concept is wrapper classes. The Java programming language does not look at the primitive data types as objects like numerical, boolean, character, etc. These data types are not the part of the object hierarchy. Objects are little bit different. Such data types or data elements are wrapped in the objects created around them, and each Java primitive data types has a corresponding wrapper class in java.lang.package, and each wrapper class object encapsulate a single primitive values. Then what is meant by wrapper classes, or the definition of wrapper class? The wrapper class in Java provides the mechanism to convert primitive into object and object into primitive. This is called as the wrapper classes. Wrapper classes having some features. First is all the methods of wrapper class are static. That means in wrapper classes, when we declare the methods are static, compulsory static. Then second is wrapper class does not contain constructor. Then third is once a value is assigned to wrapper class instance, it cannot be changed anymore. Then wrapper class having two primary functions. First is it provide a home for methods and variables related to the type, and it creates objects to hold values of a particular type of generically written classes that only know how to handle object references. These are the features and two primary functions of wrapper classes. Then the 8 classes of java.lang package are known as the wrapper classes in Java. Then first is boolean primitive type, and its wrapper class is boolean, and it is written as java.lang.boolean. Then second is character for character java.lang.character. Then byte java.lang.byte. Then short, it is written as java.lang.short. Then integer java.lang.integers. Long java.lang.long. Then float java.lang.float, and last is double java.lang.double. But this is the wrapper classes. So first letter is capital. Then it having some first is numbers. The abstract class number is a super class that is implemented by the classes and that wrap the numeric type like byte, short, int, long, float, double, etc. It having some methods like byte value, double values, float values, int values, long values, short values, as like this. Then float and double. When float and doubles are wrap classes for floating point values of type float and double, then it having some constructors, float double num, then float numbers, then float string str, then constructor for double numbers, double string str. Then it having some methods for double and float. First is integer compared to float f, then boolean equals. Then first is integer compared to, it compares the numerical values of invoking objects with that of f, and it returns 0 if the values are equal, and returns negative if the values invoking objects is lower values, and return positive when the values of invoking object has greater values. Then second is boolean equals object float object. It returns true if the invoking float objects is equivalent to the float object, otherwise it returns false. Then third is int hash code. This method returns the hash code for the invoking objects. Then boolean is infinite. It returns true if the invoking object contains an infinite value, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is infinite float numbers. It returns true if num specifies an infinite value, otherwise it returns false. Then boolean is none. It returns true if the invoking object contains a value and that is not a number. Not a number, that means NaN. None. Otherwise it returns false. The none is created or NaN method is created when 0.0 is divided by 0.0 or using constant float dot NaN. Then static float parse float. It returns the float equivalent of the numbers contained in the string specified by str using radix 10. Then static float values of string str. It returns the float object that contains the value specified by the string in str. Then byte, short, integer and long. These are the wrapper classes for byte, short, int and long integer types respectively. Their constructors are byte, byte num, byte string str, short, short num, short string str, integer, int num, integer string str, long, long num, then long str, string str. Then methods of byte, short, integer and long. Then first is int compare to byte b. It compares the numerical values of invoking objects with that of b. Returns 0 if the values are equal, returns negative value if the invoking object has lower value, and returns positive value if the invoking object has the greater value. Then second is int compare object obj. It operates identically to compare to byte if the obj is of class byte, otherwise throws a class cast exception. Static byte code string str throws number format exception. Then boolean equals object obj byte obj. It returns true if the invoking byte object is equivalent to byte obj, otherwise return false. Then int hash code. It returns the hash code for invoking objects dot stat and static byte parse byte string str throws the number format exception. Then string to string. It returns a string that contains a decimal equivalent of the invoking objects. Then static byte value of string str throws number format exception. It returns a byte object that contains value specified by the string in str. Then integer and long class has added three methods: static, string to binary string. That means it returns a string that contains the binary equivalents of numbers. Then static string to hex string int numbers. It returns a string that contains hexadecimal equivalent of num. Then static string to octal string. It returns a string that contains the octal equivalent of num. These are the three methods added in integer and long class. Then methods for characters. Third is character. Character is the wrapper class of data type char. It having only one constructor, character char ch, and it having some methods. First is static boolean is digit character ch. It returns true if ch is digit, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is letter character ch. It returns true if ch is letter, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is letter or digit character ch. It returns true if ch is letter or a digit, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is lowercase character ch. It returns true if ch is lowercase letter, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is space character char ch. It returns true if ch is Unicode space character, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is title case character ch. It returns true if ch is Unicode title case character, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is uppercase character ch. It returns true if ch is an uppercase letter, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is white space character ch. It returns true if ch is white space, otherwise it returns false. Then static boolean is white space character ch. it returns true if ch is white space, otherwise it returns false. Then static character to lowercase character ch, it returns lowercase equivalent of ch. Then static char to title case character ch, it returns title case equivalent of ch. And last is static char to uppercase character ch, it returns uppercase equivalent of ch. Then we will see the example for wrapper class. Converting first example is converting primitive types to wrapper object. First is here some examples. Class is example 1 and then declare main method. It contains first converting integer primitive into integer objects. Here int num is equal to 100, then integer obj is equal to integer dot value of num, and then print the num. Then when we run this program, we will get the output 100. Exactly opposite when converting wrapper class object into the primitive. Then public class example second, and here main methods. Then it is creating wrapper class objects. Here integer obj is equal to new integer in bracket 100. Then int num is equal to obj dot int value. Then system dot out dot println num is object is equal to object. Then print the value of num. Here object is equal object pass the value 100, then we will get the output 100. Then for a character wrapper class example for character wrapper class. Here the one of the class is wrapper characters. Then main methods character ch is equal to new character x. Then system dot out dot println character values. Then ch dot character value. Then if character dot it is digit, then system dot out dot println 0 is a digit. Then if character dot is lowercase r, then r is lowercase, else r is uppercase, r is lowercase or lowercase. Then system dot out dot println character dot to lowercase r, then that means converted capital R into small r, lowercase r. And if character dot is white space, then print character is white space. Then when we run this program, then we will get the output character value is equal to x, 0 is the digit, r is uppercase, then converted into two lowercase methods, r is lowercase small r, then character is white space.